Mark, Luke, John, Acts, and Romans. 1st and 2nd Corinthians, Galatians and Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians. Now it's 1st Timothy, then it's 2nd Timothy, Titus and Philemon, and Hebrews, James. Now it's 1st Peter, and then it's 2nd Peter, 1st John, 2nd John, 3rd John, Jude. Revelation. These are the books of the Bible, the wonderful books of the Bible. These are the books of the Bible, the wonderful books. It's a letter from God that sets everyone free, a gift for you, for me. These are the books of the Bible, the wonderful books of the Bible. Whoa, 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 whoa. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, and Romans. 1st and 2nd Corinthians.
Hello, Desert Breeze kids and families. I hope this online lesson finds you well. So we are starting a new calendar year here at dbKids Ministry. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be continuing to post the lessons here on YouTube at 8 a.m. every Sunday. Going forward. Now, this month's theme, as we start new, beginning this calendar, is called Promise, and the promise that God has given to us. Now, we're going to be starting in the book of Genesis for this month, and with our theme kicking off this week of God promises to fix what was broken. And we look and see, even in this today's story, how the choices that were made back then, even choices we make today, how we just see the brokenness around. But that's okay, because God has a way to fix that brokenness. And that's our big idea for today, is God promised to fix what was broken. So let's check into today's lesson and even just see how this brokenness even started in this world with Adam and Eve. Let's roll that clip.
Stories of the Bible. Adam and Eve's sin. This is Adam.
Hey.
And this is Eve.
Hi.
Who were the first people on earth. They lived in the Garden of Eden, which was a beautiful place that had everything they needed. Adam and Eve took care of the animals and could eat from any of the trees in the garden, except for one. This was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and God told them not to eat from this tree. There were lots of animals in the garden, but the serpent was the most clever of all the wild animals God had made. One day, he asked the woman,
Hey, Eve.
"Did God really say you must not eat the fruit from any of these trees in the garden?" Eve said that they were able to eat from all of the fruit trees except the fruit from the tree in the middle of the garden. For God said, "You must not eat or even touch it. If you do, you will die."
No, that can't be.
"You won't die," said the serpent. "God knows that as soon as you eat it, you will be like God, knowing both good and evil."
Oh.
The woman was convinced. She saw that the tree was beautiful and its fruit looked delicious, and she wanted the wisdom it would give her. So she took some of the fruit and ate it. Then she gave some to Adam, and he ate it too. At that moment, their eyes were opened.
Oh, no!
And they suddenly realized they weren't wearing clothes and were embarrassed. So they sewed fig leaves together to cover themselves. When the cool evening breezes were blowing, Adam and Eve heard God walking about in the garden.
Hide!
So they hid from God among the trees. Then God called to Adam, "Where are you?" Adam said, "I heard you walking in the garden, so I hid. I was afraid because I was naked." "Who told you that you were naked?" God asked. "Did you eat from the tree I told you not to eat from?" Adam said, "It was the woman you gave me who gave me the fruit, and I ate it. Then God asked Eve, "What have you done?" "The serpent tricked me," she replied. "That's why I ate it." Then God punished the serpent by making it so he would crawl on his belly from then on. He told Eve that she would have great pain in her life. Then God said to Adam that because he listened to Eve and did not obey what God had told him to do, his life would be very difficult. He would have to work hard to get food to eat, God said, "For you were made from dust, and to dust you will return." Then God made them clothing from the animals, but God knew that Adam and Eve could no longer live in the garden because of their sin, so he sent them away and closed up the garden.
Alrighty, so I know that story kind of ended on a downer, but that's the thing when it comes to the negative choices, there's the negative consequences that come with it. And as a result, brokenness. And we can see that a lot, especially around us today, with sadness, hurt, tears. But here's the thing. The story is in the book of Genesis. They're still in God's Word. Books Exodus through Revelations, sharing God's rescue plan for us and the promises that go with it. If you think about it, John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life." We learn a lot, especially during Easter, that Jesus took the penalty for our wrongs and created that pathway to have a relationship with him again. And this is the promise, but there's more than just that one promise. There's promises throughout the Bible that he has for us, and that's what we're going to get to learn a little bit throughout this month's lessons. Now, let's check in with Carl and see how he's doing with today's lesson as far as how God promised to fix what was broken. So let's check in with Carl and see how he's doing today.
Once again, welcome to Grow TV.
Hello everybody! So glad you could be here. And boy do I have a surprise for you. I want you to meet someone who is very special to me. I was walking through the park one day, and in the middle of the sidewalk there was this beautiful egg. I was stunned. I didn't know what to do, but what I did know was that if he stayed on that sidewalk, he would get hurt. So I took him home. So I present to you, Eduardo. Say hello, Eduardo. He's shy. What's that? Oh, stop. They're gonna love you. He's a little shy. Don't worry, Eduardo, there's no reason to be shy.
Carl,
Hey, Cassie.
are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm feeling okay. Why do you ask?
Really? I mean, you're talking to an egg.
Oh, Cass, it's not just any old egg. This is Eduardo.
Eduardo?
Yes, ma'am. He's the cutest little egg in the world. Not only is a 1 in a million egg, he's a 1 in a dozen.
Okay. Did you give him that name?
Sure did. Thought of it myself. You like it?
Sure. It's interesting.
Well, I mean, it wasn't my first choice. You want to hear the other names I thought of?
Not really.
Great! So at first I thought of Shelly because of the chill. Then I thought that wasn't strong enough of a name. Then I thought of Yoko. Scarlett Yoke Hamilton, Thomas Eggison, Egna, Yokelanda, Lil Yoki, Edgar Allan Poe, Egg Sharon, Egg Xavier, and Greg.
Greg?
Yeah, like egg.
Nice. So what now? Are you guys like best friends now?
We are. When we found each other, just linked. Like two childhood friends who knew each other since childhood.
Not gonna lie, that's a little weird.
Cassie, you wouldn't understand. It's an egg thing.
I guess.
You should have seen me. We were playing catch just like the old days.
What old days?
Back when I used to play baseball.
You never played baseball.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Carl, take a deep breath.
Eduardo!
Carl, it's okay.
It's not okay! Eduardo! I dropped him! I'm a terrible person!
Carl, you're not a terrible person.
Yes, I am.
No way. You're nice, you're funny, and you make videos that crack people up all the time.
I do?
Yeah.
I make people crack up all the time?
Oh, I didn't
Just
mean...
like how it cracked Eduardo!
Listen, Carl, I think we should talk about this week's story.
What's the point?
Well, I think it'll make you feel better.
Really?
Really. Remember the beginning of the Bible where God created the universe?
Yeah, I do remember that. That was awesome and perfect.
It was, and on the 6th day of creation, God created the first 2 humans ever, Adam and Eve.
And they were pretty perfect too.
They were. It was all created the way God wanted it to be, but something bad happened.
Oh no.
There was a bad snake that lied to Adam and Eve. And after God had made everything, the Bible talks about a serpent talking to Adam and Eve.
A serpent? Like a snake? Why would they talk to a snake?
It's hard to say, but the serpent was very clever. You see, snakes represented the presence of evil or chaos in the world, and that's what the serpent wanted. He wanted Adam and Eve to doubt themselves and want something else, something they knew God didn't want for them. So they listened to the serpent, which no longer made them perfect as God created them.
That's horrible. This is a sad story.
Sure was, but later, in Genesis chapter 3, God made a promise.
What promise did God make?
God promised that even though people are no longer perfect, God's ways would always be, and that God could make what was broken whole again.
So God promised to fix what was broken?
Yep. And you want to know some good news?
I would love some good news.
You just said our big idea. Today's big idea is God promised to fix what was broken.
That's right. On the count of 100. No, 3. We're all going to say it together. Ready? 1,
2,
3. God promised to fix what is broken. Woohoo! All right.
God promised to fix what was broken. Hey, the next time that you see something maybe broken or ripped or torn, just remember, hey, you know what? That's kind of like how this world is, but God has a plan to fix that. And that's our big idea, is to remember that God promised to fix what was broken. Let's jump into our verse for today, which is from Joshua 21, chapter 21, verses 45. Not one of all the Lord's good promises to Israel failed. Every one was fulfilled. Not one of all the Lord's good promises to Israel failed. Every one was fulfilled. Joshua 21, verse 45. Alrighty, DB kids and families, thank you so much for joining us today. Stay tuned next week as we continue on to look at God's promises. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day.